We are broadcasting live from El Salvador. My name is Michael Ruiz, and I am with Jordan Herbs and
Matias. Young Matias.
young Matt. And we have relocated, we have uprooted our lives in the United States and have made the journey down to El Salvador to build a new life.
We're here. We've signed the leases.
Mm-hmm.
We've imported the equipment. We've been doing the networking. My children, my wife, they're on their way in about a week. I'm really excited for them to be here. Found the schools. We're here for real. We're serious. This is a time in the world where all eyes are on El Salvador. I feel like it's also a time in our lives, my life especially, where things just haven't been working out as I, have intended them to for whatever reasons. There's no victim mentality here. There's no blame. But things just, I'm still moving around. Haven't been able to stabilize since having kids and stuff. So this is where we've landed.
Well, all right. To just piggyback off of what you just said, COVID shook things up for a lot of people, me included. And so I haven't been able to be stable as well. And this seems like a good place to plant your flag, to plant some seeds and see what grows.
Amen.
Yeah. And so what we want to do here, this is a test broadcast. Obviously everything's, if you can see what we got going on here, it's all makeshift, temporary setup, just to get familiar with the audio equipment and the video equipment, and just kind of go through, whatever processes and procedures we need to do so we can streamline this. But we do want to talk about a few things here. What are we talking about, Jordan?
Yeah, well, so what we're trying to do here is break the ice and share our thought process a bit on what we're doing here and why. What we're doing here with Building El Salvador, what we're doing here at Sovereignty Studios. And so this episode, we're going to just dive into that a bit. This test episode, I think it's kind of funny. If you look at the screen, it's like normally with a video podcast, it's optimized so the guests, the people talking, look good and it's a good shot. And here, it just looks like it's optimized for cables and equipment and wires. We have this whole microphone set up for Matias, the producer right now, and it's not even connected because it turned out the audio interface that we brought from the States was defective. So got it on Amazon, brought it in, doesn't work.
Well, look, everything about this is a test run, and you have to go through the learning pains, right? To figure out what you need, what you don't need, what works, what doesn't work. Even this broadcast, right? It's the first tweet from Sovereignty Studios Twitter account. So it just shows, you gotta start somewhere and learn through iterations. And it's going to be cool to look back on this and see how far we come along.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And we're stoked to have everyone along for the ride. There's 38 people watching right now. It's insane. 38 people care about this. Oh, maybe.
All right. So let's talk about why we're here in El Salvador a little bit. Let's talk about what our intentions are over here. Maybe some goals that we have and some challenges.
Things coming up.
All right. So, my intention, first of all, let's talk about the intention of me being here in El Salvador. So number one, El Salvador is just a country that aligns with who I am, my internal composition, my values, and so forth. And also it's a country on an upward trajectory. So number one, being here, my intention is to kind of live a much more aligned life. Countries adopted Bitcoin. They're opening up their doors to entrepreneurs. They have all these policies in place or coming down the line that are going to be friendly to builders. And there's a bunch of builders already here who are working on various projects. So, I would start there. That's my first intention, is to just live a much more aligned life over here. But with this podcast, so to say, right? Well, yes, what are we calling it?
Building El Salvador.
Building El Salvador. Yeah. So I think it's to document. My intention here is to document the journey of building in general. but also in El Salvador. So there's going to be plenty of information that's like relevant to anyone interested in coming down to El Salvador. We'll have all types of value, which we disseminate through our conversations, which people can pick up on. But also in general, just talking about the journey of entrepreneurship, the struggles, the triumphs, what I've learned along the way. I think, yeah, that's another intention that I have. And then also to, network, build a tribe, find like-minded people out there in the world through the stuff that we talk about on here. We're both here. I think we've met, Jordan, through, our, I guess,
through
love.
Twitter.
Yeah, through Twitter, but through the shared love that we have for personal sovereignty, right? For living a life that's intentional, that's aligned with your values, that's designed, to bring you maximum happiness and fulfillment, I guess, for lack of better words. And talking a little bit about that and that journey, because it is a journey, it seems like, is another intention that I have. So what about you, Jordan?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, my family's coming down. We're really just trying to get a grip. I got 2 toddlers, and we've lived in 3 places so far. This is place number 4. My son is 4 years old, my older son. So we haven't quite figured it out, geographically speaking. And it's interesting because I can't really say that like my deepest values, I guess on a big overview of El Salvador politically, yes, the values are here. But, we moved off grid in Hawaii in a place where there's like no government oversight. The community is all just like, we do what we want. Like I felt like that was it, and we're growing food, built our own house, off grid, solar power, water catchment. That to me was like the end all be all of like personal sovereignty. Like I'm going to do it. And that was a really big journey. It lasted 2 years, like less than that, because it was just so much work, the lifestyle, plus building the house, all that, raising 2 children, which at the time were even younger. And it wasn't working, even though like everything about who I wanted to be, like what I embodied myself as, like that was the place to do it. The community, those values were all there. The problem is, I'm going to come back to community, is the community itself didn't exactly value, I guess I would say like self-sovereignty in the same way that we're talking about here. And it was kind of like a culture of poverty there. And I mean, it's an impoverished area if you look at it economically. It's completely abundant when you look at how beautiful it is, paradise, food growing everywhere. But it wasn't compatible with how we wanted to raise our children around that kind of culture of poverty, where it's all about welfare from the state, basically, in order to survive there. And even though we loved these people and we loved what we were building there, it just couldn't be a long-term thing, because we wanted something different for our children. So we're here now because, once again, community. The values that are bringing people to El Salvador, those big picture values, I'm starting to see, yes, it means kind of putting behind like these old hippie values of mine, and like being naked at the beach, and just like smoking weed and all these things that I find very spiritually fulfilling, and realizing like, you know what, that's not life. That's not all life. I've done that. Now it's time to conquer a new realm of life, which is entrepreneurship, as far as I'm concerned. And that ain't happening in the middle of the ocean where, the power goes out and it's too cloudy and I don't have power during the day because of the sun, the lack of sun. So that wasn't going to happen there. And once again, the stuff with the children, my wife was having a tough time, just the way we were living. And we're like, okay, like it was a big decision, but we realized it's time to move on to, I don't want to say greener pastures, because like I said, there's something about like, I miss living that way that it's not going to happen here. But on the other end of the spectrum, I get to live a brand new way here. I get to be on a brand new adventure that isn't possible there. It isn't really possible in other places right now. Like I'm ready to soar as a creator, as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, as a builder. And this feels like the one place I would want to do it.
Yeah. So, you said something. So let's just talk about Jordan and I. We came here in December, And we came here to shoot some content and kind of have a vacation at the same time.
And check it out.
Check it out. But I felt the magic here, just between the people I met and the conversations I was having. I felt like this place was special. So I've been venturing back, every month for the last 6 months until right now, which is my final move. But what I noticed in that time span is that there is something very special with the people that are coming down here, right?
Yeah.
It is attracting a certain type of person, someone who is sovereign-minded, a lot of Bitcoiners, and a lot of people who are oriented towards, a life of freedom and entrepreneurship and building. So the network that you can build over here in El Salvador is also amazing. The conversations you have, I think, listen, I don't know what Silicon Valley was like, but I imagine you just had all these brilliant minds congregating in one area, and you're bound to have all types of innovation spawn from that. And I feel like that's a similar thing that's going to happen here. And so to be on the ground floor while people are moving here, I think this year El Salvador has really been put on the map. I think prior to this year, there was probably still a question in a lot of people's mind as to what's going to happen here in El Salvador. But seeing the recent events, like for instance, Bukele's inauguration and
the election,
the election, and you had all these influencers and politicians and kings coming over here. I think that people now know that El Salvador is for real. And so I think that we're just going to continue to see, a migration here from the best and brightest minds. I mean, that's what Bukele called for. And I think that's what we're going to see. So, it's just also to be in an environment where the people coming here are optimistic. They're trying new things. They're experimenting. They're building. Like, they look at the future and it's brighter. That I haven't felt anywhere in a long time. It's always been kind of like, if you ask people about the United States, they'll tell you it's on the decline, right? Most people are going to tell you like future is questionable, if not on a downward trajectory over there. And so being around that energy could be draining, but being here where people are like, yeah, man, what are we going to do tomorrow? Let's build something, is just, it's a whole different feeling.
And to me, I think that trumps everything, trumps all. Like, what else could you ask for in life if you want to truly live, but to just feel inspired every day, feel excited, instead of waking up going, more of the same, more of the same. But here it's like adventure. There's something in the air all the time. And I want to go back to what you were saying. Well, we said it off air. When we came back in December, it was like the end of the innovator phase.
Yeah.
And now we're going into early adopter. You think that's because of Bukele's re-election? You think it was always kind of teetering there, the innovator phase, or you think it's really been the momentum?
Yeah, I think we've definitely gone into the early adopter phase where now we're getting all types of people coming down. It's not just Bitcoiners, but like people that are recognizing what Bukele has done politically and economically.
I've even met some people that seem to have become, I don't even want to call them Bitcoiners, but they've become familiar with Bitcoin because of coming here to live. Because they saw just what was happening here. Like, let's go live there. And then they get involved with Bitcoin.
It's going to get even bigger. It's just the momentum is just going to accelerate because I mean, it's hard to stop the progress that's going to occur when you have this many brilliant minds coming to one location, and El Salvador is small. And so you start getting all this, crossover and synergy happening. It's just going to lead to more and more progress, until, I don't know, maybe Silicon Valley effect happens here and they just start eating each other.
Renaissance status. I mean, there's been moments in history. I mean, the classic examples of, Florence and I guess Paris in the late 19th century, I guess, with artists and writers. And then, you could say now, I'm sure there's plenty of examples there. Even Silicon Valley, like you mentioned, that started in the 50s and 60s. it's been a while and it took some time. And that was like the synthesis of many different communities coming together, from psychedelics to technologists to psychiatrists to all these different, I guess, experts and enthusiasts in these different walks of life that were all just around the same area at the same time. And then they all just kind of bled together. And now we're living in the world we live in today, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But it's that Renaissance feeling for sure.
Cool, man. So, what are some of your goals here?
Yeah, so, I would say on a personal level, I'm trying to just build a nice life for my family. I want my kids to have roots in a place where I feel like there's a good future. And fortunately, my wife's from Argentina, so who knows what will happen down there. It's still too early to tell, but maybe the roots will be expanded. I saw a tweet recently about how true freedom in the future is really going to be more about mobility. Freedom of mobility, able to go to new jurisdictions on a whim. It's not going to be about economic, financial freedom as much, because it's really about like, okay, can you get out of that jurisdiction when shit hits the fan? Can you go to a new one? How many can you go to? What are your passports?
Optionality.
Optionality, yeah, exactly. So hoping to add this option to that list that my children can have. And then I'm trying to build an in real life business, which I've never really had. I've always kind of worked remotely. I traveled a long time. And now I'm like, it'd be really cool to just create a super profitable, lucrative, sustainable, value providing business on the ground and, pay my taxes to El Salvador instead of the United States. Like, not illegally. It's just because you can write off a good amount of taxes if you're paying them abroad. So like, I'd much rather pay a country that's not putting all their money to war and killing people other places in the planet. I'd rather pay the taxes here. So that's a huge plus.
That's just one more aspect of things being aligned with your values.
Right. It's a huge one.
Yeah.
If you're going to give your life force, let's face it. In a lot of ways, taxation is theft, depending on how you look at the spectrum. But if you're going to pay them, if you're going to be part of the system, you're going to play that game, I'd rather give it to a jurisdiction that I agree with. And I know it's going for the betterment of the lives of people, going for the betterment of the jurisdiction, which is not what's happening in the United States. Mm-hmm. God knows where your tax money's going. So yeah, there's that. And then I want to document it, partly here in this, and then also in my content. I want to document the journey, what I'm learning, the insights, the little tidbits of value that we can get to share with other people that want to come to El Salvador. I'm a creator, a content creator. I'm a storyteller. I love making content that tells stories. And so now there's this great opportunity because I've been posting these silly little 1-minute clips and everyone's loving them. I'm like, great, I'll keep doing it. I'm a content creator. I've been seeking purpose for so long in the content I create. And I finally feel like there's some purpose. Like people care. People want it. There can finally be a connection instead of me just throwing content out there, hoping someone wants to watch it and get a few views.
Yeah. So basically the backdrop of El Salvador and all the interest that it's gaining is fueling, right, your content right now. And that's part of it. Like, we got to ride that momentum, take advantage of it and utilize it to our advantage so we can be prosperous and successful in our endeavors. Absolutely.
When life gives you lemons, this is what we've talked about since December. Cause like we came in December and, we were just kind of here chilling, seeing what happened, but like a lot of magic happened and we were like, wow, this is really cool. And then you came back, I came back later, but at a certain point it was like, everything is opening up and flowing so easily for us here. Like, why would you fight that? And we put it in terms of like when God gives you these blessings, like why would you say, no, I need to make it a challenge? Like, which is what I feel like my life has been up until like now. Is like Hawaii was so hard to live in. Everywhere, all these other places I've tried to live was just so hard. And I forced it because I thought I wanted it. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I know I want this. And it's also just been so easy where it's like, all right, I am surrendered. Like, this is cool. I'm all right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, I guess in terms of my goals here, similar to you, using the backdrop of El Salvador and building here and sharing the journey to build more engaged online presence I think is one of my big goals. Also to build out several businesses similar to you. I haven't built out a physical on the ground business before, and so now I have a couple projects that I'm working on that so far have been interesting. There's some green shoots sprouting up. One of them is Nakamoto Express, which is an import business, which is logistics, and it's something that I've totally unfamiliar with, but I've been learning as I go, and so that's been fun. And yeah, so little endeavors like that. Also, my goals over here to build a good revenue stream through different entrepreneurial ventures, and also to see what El Salvador has to offer in terms of a long-term life over here, and possibly getting a property and homesteading even, maybe. These are now not so much goals, but dreams that I'm getting into. But it definitely feels all within reach over here. It definitely feels like this is a place where people's dreams can come true. And I'm seeing it every day. I'm seeing people buy their dream property and work on that dream compound that they envisioned, and the retreat center and so forth. And that's the difference, right? One of the things over here that I realize, which is different than, let's just say, the U.S., but Florida is where I'm from, is that people can build here on their properties, and people can use their properties for, not whatever they want, but it seems like there's just less restrictions here as far as what you want to do with your property. Seems like El Salvador has gone a different route in terms of property rights and actually respects them to the degree where they adopted Bitcoin, right? So you
hypermobile liquid capital.
Yeah. Shout out to Eric
V.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's already people building projects. So, yeah. Where was I going with this? What were we talking about?
Goals, intentions.
Goals, yeah, goals. So, yeah, building out businesses and building out a personal brand and building a new life here in El Salvador. I would say it was 3 goals of mine.
Nice, yeah. And then obviously we already are experiencing the challenges.
It's funny. Can I stop you right? I just got a text message. Somebody was like, I'm willing to quit my job and come work for you guys.
Are they watching?
They're probably watching right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Philip. And let's talk about Matt.
Yeah, his mic doesn't work. So
can we talk about him?
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Talk about him in front of his face.
Well, kind of, you kind of.
Hold on.
Here. Introduce yourself.
Hello.
Wait, we need to get the camera on him.
Also.
How do we get that? All right.
So the middle angle is turned in the wrong direction.
There we go.
Hello, my name is Matias, and this is my second day in El Salvador. Already lucky enough to be working with these guys, and yeah, I'm here because, well, first I heard about El Salvador in 2021 with the Bitcoin law, and then just living my life back in Estonia. I just didn't have a strong direction to go in, and at the same time I didn't have a lot of ties holding me down. So I thought, why not come over here? I've been hearing so many good things about it. Following Michael on Twitter for months, and I just decided to pull the trigger and come here.
Awesome, man. Good to have you. Good to have you in our studio, on our team, and yeah, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was really perfect, honestly. Like, you came to the first call, and then you're like, hey, I'm a video guy, let's talk. And then you're like, yeah, I'll be there in June. I'm like, whoa, so are we.
Well, you know what? Let's actually talk about this because, people think. So, for instance, Philip just texted me right now, said, hey, I'm willing to quit my job and get over there. Well, you know what? There's people doing that, So I know there's some people that put all these self-limiting or impose all these self-limiting beliefs on themselves. But look, man, here's real life example of people coming from across the world to pursue their dreams and passions and values. And Matt is one of them. But like, there's gonna be all types of people like that who are searching for something more than where they're at offers.
I've just been wondering, like, will El Salvador be able to like annex Honduras or something? Like, because there's too many people that are gonna come here. You know what I mean? It gets funky when you start thinking about it. Other jurisdictions will just have to follow the playbook because, like, where are all the people going to go?
Well, yeah. I mean, what I personally see happening, what I've always thought would happen, is that El Salvador becomes an example for the rest of the world to follow. Right? It's the sovereign individual thesis where it's like, you're going to go where you're treated best, and that. The best and brightest minds are going to go flock to that area. The rest of the world is going to notice and say, hey, we need to change what we're doing because we got a brain drain going on. And if we want to prosper into the future, we need like actual doers. And we're not attracting them here, so we're going to have to make some changes.
I wonder how long that takes, though. It's like the question of hyper-Bitcoinization. Like, at a certain point, it's going to be like overnight where everyone realizes, oh shit, we need as much Bitcoin as we can get because it's the only sound money that exists. But like, how long is it going to take?
Well, look, man, obviously people are already noticing El Salvador right now. There's already countries that say, hey, we're going to follow the Bukele playbook as far as, reducing crime. Because one of the things that has become obvious to me is that to have prosperity, you need some order of security. You need some semblance of security and safety. Otherwise, who's going to build? Who's going to build when they know whatever they're building is just going to get crumbled down or torn apart by thieves and criminals and gang members?
Governments.
And even governments. You need some type of foundation, steady foundation and certainty to attract people. So it's going to take time. So to answer your question, I'm kind of working through the thought process. It's going to take time for people to trust certain countries and to verify that they have a steady foundation which they can build on. Because why did we come to El Salvador? Why did it take us so long? There's a few answers, but like, we had to come here. We had to verify, but it already had a few years of progress, maybe 5 years of progress.
Yeah. And
so there was already a track record there in which we could, make a calculated bet on.
Yeah,
and so
like back in 2019, you might not want to take that bet, or 2020 even. Right? Yeah.
But now, so in terms of other countries, like it's gonna take some time for people to see what's going on, like with Argentina, for instance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on with Argentina. Let's see if they're for real. Let's see if Malay is for real. Let's see if they're going to enact policies that are going to be friendly towards builders and entrepreneurs. If it looks like it's going down that way, and they've maintained, their integrity for a few years, and I think people are going to start taking that bet. So, to answer your question, long-winded answer to your question is, it's going to take time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but it's cool to get some headway here. I'm really hoping it works out so I don't have to move again.
So what do you think about this test broadcast? Are you happy with it? Are we ready to wrap this up?
I think
soon?
It's fun. Yeah, I mean, people are watching, people are commenting.
How many people we got watching?
Well, it says 148 views. I don't know if that means there's 148 viewers. Probably just means that's how many people tuned in.
Yeah, that's what it means. But
actually, no, because over on the side it says "Building El Salvador Live" 147 plus. When you
watching right now,
let me go from my account and see what it looks like.
That's pretty crazy, That's what I'm saying. Like, we live in powerful times where we can leverage technology to, just create things.
I mean, yeah, because normally it shows a space and it shows how many people are in there. It sounds like there's 147 people here right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's up, people?
Thanks, everyone.
What's up, beautiful
awesome.
people? Welcome.
Yeah, leave some comments. Let us know what you want to hear about El Salvador and learn.
Yeah, so should we tease some stuff out there?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
Tease what, Michael?
nothing, man. You know, it's not like we're gonna have any retreats or anything like that. So.
Yeah, well, so I guess that could be a good segue into our just a brief background. We talked about how we met a while back. We came to El Salvador together. And then, yeah, when we were in the same vicinity, so I came back again. We came in December, then I came back again for the halving party. What was that? The end of March, early April. And we had a great time. We made some great content. This is where we can put in some B-roll, Matthias. Matthias. Let's see. Having Party 2024. Are we seeing that on the screen? I'll just shut the audio off. But yeah, so we made some fun videos. Got some attention online, which was awesome. And, you know, like, we kind of realized, like, wow, what if we just did this in El Salvador? Like, we just go to different events. We just do interviews. We just talk to people. We tell stories about what's going on in El Salvador.
You know, that's another. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to go into the details of all of this at some other point. But there's just so much happening in El Salvador and will continue to happen. I think that's another thing that drove us to come here. It's like we felt the energy here from all the meetups, from the events, from the people. And we're like, man, if this is going to be like this, like out into the future, there's so much here. Dude. So much low-hanging fruit to pick, so much opportunities to come our way. Like, because those first the first couple trips that we took here together, it's like, man, this is crazy. Never felt like that anywhere else.
Yeah, I know.
Remember that?
Yeah, dude. It was really something special.
Did we get B-roll?
Yeah, we played it, right? Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Look, studio's coming together.
Yeah, one day we'll do picture in picture, but we got to read the manual.
Yeah. So just so people listening know, like, we literally just unboxed all of this stuff and have tried to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this is why our studio looks like, you know what? But we got a dry run. We got familiar with the equipment. Now we know what we need to focus on. So it's like, again, it's learning in iterations, you know, not letting perfectionism stop us and just going with the flow.
Yeah. And I think, confirming you 147 on live. Yeah, cool. That's crazy. 157 now. We got to just stay on, see how high we can get. But I was just going to say, like, another, I think, intention we have is to bring other builders in El Salvador onto this show, because a lot of cool people are here and are coming through here, and they got stories to tell and they got perspectives. And it's at times like El Salvador, like we were talking about earlier, is kind of like the backdrop, the environment of it, and the people that are building here just have this perspective and story that we kind of all share that backdrop here, even though our experience building in El Salvador, our experience building in El Salvador is a bit different. I'm doing all these hand motions and it's moving the camera. We got these AI cameras that like move with hand motions.
That's cool. Yeah, we got to figure them out. There's a way to control them remotely with a little remote. So
we gotta get those remotes.
We're just gonna have young Matt over here with the whole control center set up.
Young Matthias.
I think he's got to have a role on the podcast too, right?
Well, that's why he has a mic. It's just the interface didn't work.
Yeah,
he got kicked out. All right. Well, the chat is open. Does anyone want to ask any questions or say anything before we close this out?
I gotta eat.
Michael's hungry, and I gotta go buy a guitar. Yeah, the last thing I think we wanted to talk about was just like, we're here to make a lot of content. For whatever reasons, we're here to make a lot of content. It fuels business and it creates opportunities. I think this is the key thing here. Like, Michael, you're doing like real estate videos and like, you know, not selling real estate, but you're...
Yeah, I could speak on that a little bit. Like, so content is king in whatever business you're doing. It's just, you know, it's the future of marketing. It's actually not the future of marketing. It is marketing now, right? It's free advertising. It's free marketing. And so yeah, that's one of the things that we're going to focus on, or at least I am, but I know Jordan is as well, is content in order to fuel our businesses.
Yeah, what are you talking about? That's all I do.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be, working on as far as content creation. So, that has already led to so many opportunities for me. Like Jordan was saying, I never thought I'd be in real estate over here. But I made a couple, real estate videos.
Just having fun, taking tours.
Just having fun. Like we were looking at houses, and I was like, well, why don't we record some of this, since everyone's always asking what rent is like or what houses are like. So we recorded a few videos. We put it together. We posted it on Twitter.
And they blew up.
They blew up. And so then I had a real estate company reach out to me, and they're like, hey, we want you to showcase our listings. And it was like 40 or 50 listings. And I was like, wow, how did I end up in this situation? So it all came from content, right? Generating content opens doors, and fuels your business. So yeah.
What's going on in November, Michael?
What's going on in November? So check this out. If you're thinking about coming to El Salvador, a great time. And let's just say, if you're thinking of coming to El Salvador and you're a Bitcoiner and you're a builder, a great time to come is in November for adopting Bitcoin, right? There's a conference happening. It's not too far from us, actually. It's right down the street from us, Jordan. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. But it's going to be a fantastic conference. I know the organizers. I've been working with them a little bit, collaborating on some content, and I think that's going to be a great time. You're going to have fun. You're going to get to see all the innovation that's taking place in terms of what Bitcoin can do to fuel a circular economy. So you're gonna get all the cutting edge stuff on that front. They're gonna have workshops, and there's just gonna be a bunch of cool people and satellite events as well. There's gonna be all these peripheral events happening as well. So definitely a good time to come. Not only that, come spend the Bitcoin, see how it works, and see how you can contribute. See if there's a way in for you over here in El Salvador, if that's something you've been thinking about. So,
and if you can't wait all the way till November, the end of September, we'll have some opportunity for you as well, and we'll announce that soon once we know more details. But we really want to contribute is the wrong word, provide opportunities for you to come check it out here. I mean, I took 4 trips here before I was like finally ready to move down here. Michael took 5 or 6
trips.
It takes time to like get your bearings, but it is possible. It might seem so far away. Dude, I remember early 2023, I was looking at I was like looking at something at Max Kaiser in El Salvador, and I was like trying to find a job at the time because everything was so tough in Hawaii. And I was like, man, what if I just try to get a hold of Max Kaiser? I was like, yo, can I just like follow you around with a camera and just be your behind the scenes? Because I think it'd be a great reality show. And I just had that dream. And obviously I had no way of getting a hold of Max Kaiser at the time. I had no network, blah, blah, blah. But it felt so far away. And I was like, how can I create an opportunity? Like, I have no one I know down there. I can't just like go down. I don't feel comfortable going down there. Like I did with you. I mean, I would have gone. It's not like I've never gone anywhere that I didn't have an understanding of. But with the intention of going to live there and knowing like, okay, I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Job. So we really want to help provide opportunities of learning more and figuring that out. If you're someone that's kind of in that same boat, like I want to go check it out, but I'm not sure where to begin.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the things that we want to do is help facilitate people to come down here who are in our network, or who are
on our newsletter, buildinelsalvador.com.
That's right. Who have joined our inner circle, and then if not, again, adopting Bitcoin is a good time to be here because it gives you a reason to be here. Number one, right? And you're gonna have a bunch of like-minded people as well around you. But in addition to that, we're gonna have our own opportunities. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. I'm good.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, young Matias.
Hold on. Yeah. You got any closing words that you want to say?
it's just surreal, like landing here yesterday, and now I'm here with you guys. Like, I didn't know that it would play out like this. I didn't even know the day that we would go live, but it has been a great experience.
We don't mess around, man. We don't waste
Yeah.
time.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just start doing and see what the results are and go from there.
Exactly. Cool.
All right, everyone.
Well, here, sign off on the microphone, Jordan.
Oh yeah.
People want to hear you say goodbye.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Building El Salvador live from Sovereignty Studios.